So, Tucker Carlson has worked his way up from the slime barrel to become the #1 cable news host in America. Now, given the advent of new media on the internet, I wouldn't really consider that to be a groundbreaking achievement, but it is telling of the direction of thought our country is headed into, at least in terms of the sheeple. And he did the segment on Donald Trump's latest speech.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Happy
Good evening.
Monday. One of the great unsolved mysteries of the past 4 years is why certain types of people with certain types of jobs hate Donald Trump so much, really hate him, obsess over him, think about him when they wake up in the morning, would hurt him if they could. Why the fixation?
You mean Twitter? Yeah, who really knows those people? And what sectors they... I mean, you're talking about, I guess, celebrities, Hollywood. I mean, hasn't it been a tradition, though? Let's think about this for a second. There's always been a vocal dissent towards the president, any president. You know, just go back to Obama. Are you just going to pretend like he never had any... that your network that you work for didn't have this utter fixation on every little thing he did, like the tan suit?
It has nothing to do with the reasons that normal people sometimes get annoyed with Trump, the bragging, the short attention span, the rants on Twitter. None of that justifies hatred or obsession. Plenty of politicians have unappealing personal qualities. Teddy Kennedy killed a woman, and he's still a hero to the Democratic Party. No, the reason the ruling class despises Donald Trump is because they can't control him. Trump throws the bit. He refuses to mouth their lyrics. He will not obey. At any moment, Donald Trump is liable to come out with something that you're absolutely not allowed to say. Borders make countries, for example. China is our enemy. Whoopi Goldberg isn't that funny.
Okay, hold on. You're not allowed... You just said them, though. You're saying you're not allowed to say those things? I'm not allowed to say borders have... This is #1. That's a Fox News propaganda lie. Straight from the horse's mouth. Name one Democratic politician who has called for open borders. You can't do it because there hasn't been one. Even Bernie Sanders said we need strong borders. So there is no... It's just doesn't exist in the Democratic Party. You could say that's a libertarian position, and I think I should be allowed to go wherever I want, but I should also expect that the government should have a right to know who I am and yada yada, so long as they treat me as a decent human being. But that's for another video. What else aren't you allowed to say? Whoopi Goldberg isn't that funny. Dude, you are so... This guy is such a drama queen. Fuck you. It's just lie. Like, I'm just gonna be hitting my bullshit meter a lot in this video.
All of it undeniably true, and
So
that's
get
the
ready.
point and the problem.
Yeah.
Trump's words hang in the air for all to see and to assess, and they are therefore a massive threat to people whose livelihoods depend upon
I'm
fraud
sure they
and
are.
lying.
Yeah.
Trump is the most dangerous to his enemies when he tells the truth. In fact, they're his enemies precisely because sometimes he does tell the truth, and he did it the other day.
Sometimes.
On Friday, the president gave a speech at Mount Rushmore. He spoke eloquently about the BLM riots and what they mean for the country. Here's part of it.
Make no mistake, this left-wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution.
Whoa, man. It's almost like the leftist revolution is designed to overthrow our... What revolution is Donald Trump a part of? And are you really going to say that the left revolution isn't an American revolution? They're Americans. Are they not? Are you denying their citizenship? Are you denying their equal stake in this country? What case are you trying to make? What revolution are you a part of? The revolution of stars and stripes? Fuck you. You're full of shit. You're the modern day redcoat. That's what you are. You're exactly like the fucking king back in 1776. And this country, man, it would be a whole lot better off without this government. The tree of liberty must be replenished with the blood of tyrants.
In so doing, they would destroy the very civilization that rescued billions from poverty, disease, violence, and hunger, and that lifted humanity to new heights of achievement, discovery, and progress.
Buzzword,
To make this
buzzword,
possible,
buzzword.
they are determined to tear down every statue, symbol, and memory of our national heritage.
3
Our
people.
national heritage, it's something we can be proud of. This country defeated both fascism
Who's
and
they?
communism. Our revolution inspired democratic revolutions around the world, from South America to India. Even today, pro-freedom demonstrators in Hong Kong, where the stakes are very high, wave the American flag to express their hope and their defiance. Our economy and our schools created the world's first and the greatest educated middle class.
Yeah, whatever, man, because we're freer than them, that makes us free? No. No. That's why I'm waving the fucking French flag, because they have the freedom to commute environmentally safe, you know, with their own gigantic rail system, and they have universal health care. So by that logic, I should be waving the Denmark flag or the Sweden flag or just any country over the Icelandic flag. I've been there. I know they're a better country than us by every conceivable metric, except perhaps gun ownership and a couple other things. Fat people, whatever. But that doesn't explain our problems, our difficulties, which you seem to be wholly unwilling to talk about. But let's see if he does.
Our engineers and our scientists invented the airplane and the transistor and virtually everything else in modern life. They also transformed agriculture. They ended famine on most of the globe. Our richest citizens became famous not for the palaces they built to themselves, but for the philanthropy they gave to others. Andrew Carnegie built countless libraries for the poor.
Andrew
John D.
Carnegie?
Rockefeller eradicated hookworm in the South.
Rockefeller?
These are not the deeds of an evil country. They're the accomplishments of a great country.
You see, here's the problem with that, Tucker, is that how far did you have to go back to get those references into your little teleprompter? That's like 100 years ago. And the same goes for Trump's speech. There's this point in his speech where he's referencing all of these great American figures, but he doesn't talk about like Michael Jackson or Prince or, you know, even Ronald Reagan. He talks about fucking Bob Hope, the comic legend Bob Hope. Oh, you know who really chuckles my muffins, man? Fucking Bob Hope. That, you know, that guy who what was his most famous bit? Nobody fucking knows. Tell you why, because Bob Hope is a fucking dead cocksucker. He's fucking terrible. His shit doesn't hold up. His shit doesn't hold up. You know, he's not even like a Lenny Bruce type who like was a trailblazer. This guy's a hokey, cheesy fart. Fuck this president. Fuck Tucker Carlson. It keeps going. It fucking keeps going. Of course it does.
American school children learn virtually none of this. Instead, our curricula have become a toxic mix of lies and omission, all of it designed to poison our children against the country that formed them.
Against every law of society and nature, our children are taught in school to hate their own country and to believe that the men and women who built it were not heroes, but that were villains. The radical view of American history is a web of lies. All perspective is removed. Every virtue is obscured. Every motive is twisted. Every fact is distorted. And every flaw is magnified until the history is purged and the record is disfigured beyond all recognition.
Kind of like that black kid the pigs beat the shit out of. Never mind. We don't want to talk about that. How dare we criticize our great country? This is seriously giving me some like McCarthy vibes, and I'm lucky I don't believe this shit. I really am, man, because I almost feel bad for anybody who's been stuck on this fucking Trump train, man, because it's going straight to fucking Auschwitz. The way I fucking look at it, man. You're still on the fucking Trump train, you better strap in, man. Fuck. What is he even talking about? This is not rooted in reality. This is just old dementia grandpa story time. Who is he trying to win over with this? He's just trying... he's already got his base who will follow him to the ends of the earth, but he's got to get new people. People who dare question their country. What happened to him in 2016? I thought he was the guy who was saying, oh, we're not perfect. We're not a perfect country. We're not great, and I'm going to make it great again. But now he's on the train. He's on the bandwagon that Hillary was on. Oh, we were always great. We never had a bad day in American history. We know that's not true. A first grader knows that's not. Anybody who's been in a single history class or read a single page of history knows that's not true.
Every word of that is true. If you have kids in school, you know it may even be understated.
Of course it is.
Happening in our classrooms
Tucker.
right now in 2020 is a crime.
Oh, tuck me
It's
in,
long
Tucker.
past time that a sitting president said so. And then Trump kept
Pop
going.
another Opie.
Toward the end of his speech,
Stupid
he defended the core
hicks.
promise of America, the principle this country was founded on. It's the only principle that will allow America to survive going forward, a nation where all citizens are equal from birth and as a result enjoy equal rights and equal protection under the law.
We know
it's
they
the
don't.
America our Declaration
We
of Independence
don't, though.
describes.
That's the problem,
We
Tucker.
believe in equal opportunity, equal justice, and equal treatment for citizens of every race, background, religion, and creed. Every child of every color, born and unborn, is made in the holy image of God. We want free and open debate, not speech codes and cancel culture. We embrace tolerance, not prejudice.
You can tell that he doesn't even give a shit about what he's saying. These are just random words put together.
Support the courageous
shameful.
men and women of law enforcement. We will never abolish
Hold up. You just said you're against prejudice, but you support the people who are promoting the prejudice, who are killing black people at a disproportionate rate. Okay, what? So you contradicted yourself in the same sentence, but this is to be expected of Donald Trump. He is the king of contradictions.
Our police or our great Second Amendment, which gives us the right to keep and bear arms. We believe that our
Another
children
contradiction.
should be taught to love their country, honor their history, and respect our great American flag.
This has to be the
We stand proud, and we only...
This has to be the most anti-American speech I've ever heard from a president. I mean, even George Bush wouldn't have gone, this level of extremism, this level of ignorance. Yeah, you can be proud of aspects of your country, but without the prejudice, without the acknowledgement of our bad times, what are we? There can't be that light without the darkness, without taking a hard, searing look at that. So this is completely unpatriotic. This does, I think burning a flag is more patriotic than standing for one at this point. Because that shows that you have a functioning brain. You're actually thinking about what this country means. And to me, it doesn't really mean anything anymore, except money. Because that's what they've decided. That's what the people in power have decided. We don't have a fucking country. Get the fuck out of here. These people are fascists. This guy is a fascist, glutton piece of shit. And I hope he loses. I really do. Not that I'm rooting for Biden, but fucking enough of this parading and just cheesy nostalgia. What is this?
We kneel to Almighty God. This is who we are. This is what we believe.
No.
And these are the values that will guide us as we strive to build an even better and greater future.
We almost never play sound bites that are that long. Politicians rarely give speeches worthy of it. Most what they say is garbage, and we don't want to repeat it. But Friday's address at Mount Rushmore was probably the single best speech Donald Trump has ever given. It was a roadmap for his reelection message, but more than that, it was a roadmap for the country itself. Equality, decency, pride in our nation, those were the themes. Naturally, the liars on television deeply hated every word of it.
There's really a myth of America, that this idea that America treated people well, that they treated men and women equally, that we founded this country just by our own wits, that is actually a lie. And
much of American political propaganda over the course of our history has tried to completely erase, ignore, lie about the ugly parts of our history.
Mount Rushmore isn't exactly the
MSNBC is completely full of shit too for even participating in this debate, but this is what the corporate media does. You have to understand this. They move the goalposts so close that the debate becomes so concentrated and so irrational. We're not even talking about the brutality at this point. We're talking about the vague symbolism. Who's we? We had no part in any of this shit. We're just here. Why should I worship this culture? What has this culture done for me other than denigrated me? Put my face in the dirt when I was already down. What the fuck do I have to thank America for? What, for a couple dollars here and there? For like a fucking free latte? Fuck you. Fuck this country. I'm French, motherfucker, so I can say that. You're a bunch of fucking know-it-all cocksuckers. You don't know shit.
The innocent ode
Fucking
to our
rich
founding
assholes.
fathers as described in our textbooks. And it's high time we disrupt that false narrative that far too many people believe. Here we are, celebrating the birth of a nation, independence for white men, at a site described by one Native American activist as, quote, a symbol of white supremacy.
If you spent the rest of your life trying to locate, to identify the worst people in this country of 330 million, you couldn't get a purer distillation than what you just saw.
The worst people.
These people are liars. They're the same people who spent the last month telling you that the riots you saw live on television were actually peaceful protests against racism.
I'd admonish Tucker to be careful when he calls out his own pundit class like that.
That was a lie. They knew it was a lie when they said it, but they said it anyway in order to undermine a country that they hate. Yes, hate. America deserves to be in flames. That is their view. And this weekend they said...
Yeah, because you know the heart of these people. You know. Yeah, it's not because they have any legitimate grievances about police brutality. It's not because they have economic grievances about being treated like slaves, having no unions. Yeah, no, that's, what, hello? You're not even... Yeah, it's just because they're hateful. It's just hateful. It's just hate. It doesn't come from anywhere. There's no reason for it. It's just fucking hateful. Oh, get rid of these hateful anarchists. Guess what, Tucker? Your country that you're so fucking proud of was founded on anarchists. Okay? It was founded on anarchy. This guy just doesn't get it. Conservatives, they just don't get it. They never will.
Essentially out loud. Mount Rushmore, they told us, must go. It is illegitimate, just like the nation it celebrates.
President Trump will be at Mount Rushmore.
I mean, look, I like Mount Rushmore. I want to go see it. I don't think it should be taken down. I think it's a good piece of art. But to say it's legitimate or illegitimate, it's just another bullshit argument. Am I honestly supposed to take a fucking side on this? The facts are the facts. You can feel however way you want about them, but don't pretend they don't exist, whatever they may be. I don't know about Mount Rushmore, but I do know many of these statues were created with a racist intent to them, as like a fuck you during the Jim Crow days or the Civil Rights era. They were made in a specific time for a specific reason, to hold back that progress of equality that you just said America is all about. Well, if you support these statues, that goes against that. So,
in front of a monument of two slave owners and on land wrestled away from Native Americans.
With these founding fathers, with these monuments that we don't want to forget, what do we do with them? Maybe they don't stand in the town square, but should they stand anywhere? Should we demolish them?
It's been polluted. It's been desecrated by putting these slave-owning, racist, horrible...
Again, who's we? Like, dude, if you get triggered over a statue, forgive me, but I don't really think any of your opinions matter. Okay? I don't care. Like, please go follow... I hope we put one of these statues at the edge of a cliff so just all these idiots can go follow it. That's my solution. To just get rid of this issue. Get rid of the issue, man. If you're triggered by a fucking statue, none of your opinions matter. Just build your own statue. Build your own statue right next to it. Like, I don't know what the LGBT... Fucking Marilyn Monroe with a dick. Whatever you want. Build a statue whatever the fuck you want. Or tear them both down. What do I care? I don't. I don't fucking care. Just don't take my tax dollars. That's the thing. They do that anyway. They're paid for my tax dollars. So, I mean, you're fucked either way.
Horrible white man in 60-foot statues on this wall.
When you look at this place, this land, the Black Hills, the history is a dark one.
But it's not just the land that had been stolen in a place like Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills. It's the theft of history, the theft of the narrative.
It's worth reminding folks that the man who carved the monument behind me had deep ties to the KKK.
The mother of all photo ops, Mount Rushmore. And we know why this president just can't resist going there.
So Mount Rushmore is now a symbol of evil, just like your nation. Where's this all going?
I mean, it's going to... I guess they're alluding to a fact. I'm not familiar with it, but I guess the guy who made Mount Rushmore had ties to the KKK. And if that's a fact, then that's a fact. Okay? Like, to just skim over that it's dishonest. It's just journalistically dishonest. But again, I don't care about the issue. I don't see why anyone would. Again, it's a national monument, and I don't object to him being there and giving a speech. I do object to the content of his speech. The content of his speech is terrible. And actually, if looking at the path we're going down into a Great Depression and just a mass panic from this virus, this is about the most ineffective speech that you could possibly give. I mean, this is a time where if you believe in having leaders, which I don't, but the majority of people do, then you want a leader who's going to unify the people, not divide. And that's where Joe Biden ultimately has the edge for the time being, is that he talks about unifying the people, and he has just not so much a narcissistic. You need the illusion of leadership. This guy doesn't have that. This is terrible. This is just weak as shit. I don't see how this is a good speech at all.
Matt Taibbi put it, quote, CNN even put independence in quotes when describing the holiday. This will end with Wolf Blitzer dressed in a dashiki pulling the switch to dynamite the Statue of Liberty. Pretty funny, but suddenly it's getting easier to imagine that happening. On the morning of July 4th, the Washington Post summarized
what fucking
the president's
world do these
speech,
conservatives occupy,
displayed this way, quote,
Wolf
President
Blitzer
Trump's
is an
unyielding
anarchist.
push to preserve Confederate
boomer.
symbols and the legacy of white domination, crystallized by his harsh denunciation of the racial justice movement Friday night at Mount
Tucker and
Rushmore,
his stupid
has
fucking
unnerved
mouth.
Republicans who have long enabled him. For real. That was not an opinion piece, by the way, on the op-ed page. It was a news story written by 2 Washington Post reporters. They described the president's defense of equality under the law as, quote, Trump's push to amplify racism. Jeff Bezos' newspaper.
I'm willing to bet
So
that's
the
not what they
politicians
said.
joined the chorus.
No, that's what you call a half-ass quote, where you connect your criticism and you put it in the same sentence as half of the quote that they said. So again, another just completely disingenuous move by Tucker. I mean, his segments are full of them, just littered with false allegations, false accusations towards the left and what he claims they represent. But they're just people. They're people with a lot less money than you. And they have a voice too. And you are shunning them. Your side is doing everything they can to ignore them and to further divide the population.
The mayor of Nashville canceled the city's 4th of July fireworks, but allowed BLM protests to continue unimpeded. In Richmond, city officials ordered a construction site to remove an American flag. It was too provocative, they said. Meanwhile, the statue of mass murderer Vladimir Lenin stands totally unmolested in the city of Seattle tonight. Officials there see nothing provocative about it.
Are you suggesting that you're suggesting your version of anarchy, but you realize that a lot of the country just disagrees with you? Do you ever think that maybe this isn't a systemic push to get rid of these things so much as it is an honest reflection on our country's values? You know, maybe we don't want this bullshit vague symbolism shoved down our throats 24/7. Maybe we're sick and tired of the propaganda. Maybe we don't want the stars and stripes. Maybe we want our independence, God forbid. You think? I don't know, Tucker. It just seems like you're cherry picking here. You're a fucking idiot. God damn it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, man. This guy is a walking, talking douchebag.
So where's Joe Biden on all of this as the revolution continues apace? Biden is supposed to be a moderate, remember? That was his chief appeal. But there was nothing moderate about Biden's 4th of July statement. Instead, it was a full-throated attack on the United States.
Our country was founded on an idea. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We've never lived up to it. Jefferson himself didn't. He held slaves. Women were excluded. American history is no fairy tale. It's been a constant push and pull between the 2 parts of our character. The idea that all men and women, all people are created equal, and the racism that has torn us apart. We have a chance to rip the roots of systemic racism out of this country.
That's your 4th of July message? Systemic racism? Some people.
Oh my God. The radical Joe Biden. Hey, Tucker, I think you're having a meltdown here. You need to go home and lie down. If you think this is a fucking attack on our country, I don't even know what to say. How far has the debate shifted? Joe Biden is merely acknowledging that our country is imperfect. I mean, that was the slightest suggestion of it in your eyes. That's an attack on our ideals. Yeah, man, how fucking... You want to talk about snowflakes, man? I think we just hit the fucking jackpot here. This is fucking... Tucker is like primo snowflake.
You can't even define that has no real definition? Really? Wagging your finger in the face of the nation that promoted someone as mediocre as you to the position you currently hold? This is the man who could soon be our figurehead. But how about the actual presidential candidate, whoever Biden picks as his VP running mate? Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois is.
I don't see what's controversial about any of this.
Supposed to criticize Tammy Duckworth in any way because she once served in the military. Most people just ignore her. But when Duckworth does speak in public, you're reminded what a deeply silly and unimpressive person she is. Here's Tammy Duckworth from over the weekend telling us it's time to get rid of George Washington.
I know that you support changing the name of military bases named after Confederate leaders, but there are leaders like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson who were slave owners, and some people are demanding that their monuments come down too. So in your view, where does it end? Should statues, for example, of George Washington come down?
Well, let me just say that we should start
She's gonna
off by
say
having
yes,
a
right?
national dialogue on it at some point.
Oh.
A national dialogue, please.
You said she wanted to get rid of it, though. That's not what she said, Tucker. That's not what she said. You're lying. You're lying. Almost as if you're trying to push your narrative. You're trying to frame these Democrats as radical leftists. Dude, it's not working. It's not working on anyone with 2 brain cells. These are not radicals. They're anything but radicals, man. She gave a standard politician answer of not taking a stance on the issue, and you claim that she's trying to get rid of George Washington. Like, there's no way around it, man. You're either senile or you're bullshitting your viewers. And I think it's the latter, frankly.
They're not looking for any kind of a colloquy. What they want is a soliloquy. We speak, you shut up and listen. So what to make of all of this? Well, it's long been considered out
How
of
did you
bounds
come to that
question a
assumption?
person's patriotism. It's a very strong charge, and we try not ever to make it. But in the face of all of this, the conclusion can't be avoided. These people actually hate America. There's no longer a question about that. And yet, paradoxically, at the same time, they
because you just proved it. Without beyond all these clips that you've shown, beyond a shadow of a doubt, have proven that these people hate America. I mean, let's just go through them one more time. You were making your case. You showed some fucking MSNBC pundits talking about history, just historical bullet points. You showed some screenshots of Black Lives Matter. You didn't even show, like, if I was trying to make this case that the radical left is savaging this country, I wouldn't use Joe Biden as an example. I mean, that's almost doing the opposite of making your case. Could you not find a better example of somebody who actually hates? I mean, look at me. Come at me, Tucker. I'm pro burning flags. I'm anti fucking whatever this fucking culture war is. I'm pro progress. I'm for eliminating the stars and stripes and blah blah blah. All that fake nonsense patriotism that ignores all of the social ills we face. But this is the weakest segment I've ever seen, man. Like, if I knew nothing, I can't believe people still stomach this guy. Fuck